pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Going on to the approval of minutes. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of August 14th, 2025?
Lauren Raven, so moved.
Janet Stone McWigan, I second.
All those in favor, Fred Camello's a yes.
Lauren Raven, yes.
Janet Stone McWigan, yes.
Nice voice. Is there?
Well, I was going to say, make sure that if anyone's watching us, because Don is doing the station for us, just make.
It's
Right,
crazy.
but just make sure that, you want to make sure that our voice is picked up, yeah.
And-
Otherwise, Don's going to be coming up and telling us.
No, it sounded good. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of the special meeting of August 14th, 2025?
Lauren Raven, so moved.
Janet Stone McWigan, I second.
All those in favor, Fred Camillo's a yes.
Lauren Raven, yes.
Janet Stone McWigan, yes.
Okay, thanks. Going on to the first selectmen's updates. Speaking of microphones and voices, we had a nice end of the summer concert last night over at Roger Sherman Baldwin Park. Lauren attended that. Bobby Capazzo's band that was there. We want to thank again Parks and Recreation and Donald Moore and Joe Sis for putting those shows on, and all the team at DPW and Parks and Rec that always support those, as well as the police department.
And welcome to the September Budget Committee meeting. So we're going to begin our meeting today with an executive session. Robert Young's Polgriff et al. Versus the Town of Greenwich et al. And Francisco Machuca versus the Town of Greenwich. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Weisbrod, seconded by Ms. Moriarty at 9:01. Those in favor? So we're just exiting executive session. Motion made by Leslie Moriarty, seconded by Harry Fisher at 9:40. Do I have a motion for SE2 for the first selectman, a settlement between Pelgriff et al. Versus the Town of Greenwich et al.?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Leslie Moriarty for how much, Leslie?
For $25,000.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Leslie Moriarty, seconded by Harry Fisher, for a settlement for $25,000. Those in favor? So that motion carried 4-0-0. We have SE3 for the first selectman, a settlement of Machuca versus the Town of Greenwich. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, and that amount is
27.
$27,000.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by Leslie Moriarty, seconded by Harry Fisher, for a settlement for Machuca versus Town of Greenwich for $27,000. Those in favor? So that motion carried 4-0-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Bob.
And thank you for arranging the appropriate conference calls with the attorneys. So PD2 for the police department, $10,000 approval to use. And we welcome our police chief, Jim Heavey. Welcome
Morning.
after the summer.
Leslie, on the two settlements, I'm sorry, routine or not routine? I would assume it's not routine.
We usually
Leslie?
don't do routine on settlements.
No, we can.
No,
We
there
can.
are
Leslie, do you have?
ways.
Are you suggesting routine?
No, I'm suggesting non-routine for these, and I suggested for the others that.
For the others, I was thinking routine.
No, okay, but I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah.
it's not-
Yeah, I'm not
Right.
sure.
Agreed.
They're new items for our other members.
Okay, so we're saying non-routine.
Non-routine, right?
Did-
These are non-routine for these two, but there are other settlements that would
No,
be coming.
we understand. I just want to make sure, since we all approve this, David, you're okay with both of them being non-routine? Leslie, you're okay with both of them being? Okay, so both of those, thank you, Karen. Both of those are non-routine. I'm sorry, Jim. We're,
Which one,
and so we'll start with PD2, which is $10,000 approval to use it's called here drone software, but
And I think, Jim, you need to turn on the microphone.
Good morning. So equitable sharing account is money that we've obtained through various asset forfeiture policies and procedures in the past. So we're asking to use $20,000 from that particular item to acquire a mobile drone detection system. It's aimed at bolstering public safety and situational awareness. This is an advanced system that provides real-time monitoring and identification of unauthorized drone activity, particularly in high-traffic areas such as during the fireworks displays, parades, and other community events or sensitive locations. By proactively investing in this emerging technology, we position ourselves at the forefront of aerial threat mitigation, ensure a safer and more secure environment for our residents and visitors.
so do we have any questions? Harry?
Yeah, how much is in the equitable sharing account?
If we were to get all these approved, they'll have about $100,000 left.
100,000? Okay. And I assume we're going to comply with the standard on purchase that we're buying a US-made drone?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Our current drone inventory does not meet the future requirements, but we still have some time, about 2 or 3 years, before we'll have to retire it. So.
right. Okay, thank you.
But as I understood this, and maybe I didn't read it right, this isn't a drone. This is just a drone detection kind of.
That's correct.
That's good, okay. Leslie?
So I had a couple of questions. I didn't remember the name Equitable Sharing Account.
It's
You haven't
usually
used it in a
referred to as
while.
asset forfeiture. That's
Okay.
kind of the
So I was wondering if we had.
various officers assigned to federal or state task force. If there is monies received, it's divided amongst the agencies that participated in the investigation. However, in most cases, if the money is able to be returned to the victim of the crime, it is. But then if it's like narcotics money or other things where we don't have we can't identify it, the agencies share that and are able to create an account to use for within certain limitations. Like you can't buy police cars with it. That's one of the
This is-
limitations.
Probably can't hire staff either.
This is
probably.
different from PD5, the state asset forfeiture.
That's correct.
That's a separate asset. forfeiture.
Different account.
Okay.
So this technology, and I'm sorry I didn't forward any questions in advance. I only got this over the weekend. But the company that's providing this and this whole technology, brand new, and you even referred to emerging technology in the language. I'm just wondering, do you know other departments that are making this investment so early? This company is barely a year old. It doesn't really have many products with proven revenue records. So it's really at the forefront of developing this, and there'll be changes to it clearly as it goes forward.
So again, without having to go into executive session, this technology is being used by the U.S. Secret Service for protection of, national elected officials, and we have seen it in use because we do get visitors of that level to town. So that's why we think this is one of those issues where rather be, occasionally I'd like to be first versus last on getting things. So.
Yeah, because it's a 5-year software agreement, and then things will be different in 5
Sure.
years anyway.
Well, and that's the other thing, the challenge is that during those, that's, when we go to talk about body cameras and tasers and all the other technology things, it's, the subscription is usually a 5-year, that's kind of the industry standard now, but with that, we get updates if there's a significant, like our body cameras were replaced at 2.5 years as part of the contract because of upgrades in the software and the hardware, so we got all new ones as part of the contract.
And as far as your organization being able to adapt and start using this technology throughout, are you set up for, for adapting technology in everyday police work? Or is this a specialized unit that requires ongoing training and,
So we have about a dozen drone certified pilots in the department, and it's not a special team, but they're within the agency, so they would be the ones who would be able to operate this, so we'd have sufficient staff to be able to work to operate.
okay, thank you.
Any questions, Harry? David?
No.
Thank you. So, do I have? a
I'll move
motion?
approval of PD2, amount of $20,000, or
10.
10,000.
No, it's, the cover sheet is wrong, it's 20,000 that they.
It's 20,000, right.
asking, But they, for the full BET, it should be changed.
You're right, 20,000.
Is that routine?
And I'll suggest routine.
I'll second.
Motion made by Harry Fisher, seconded by Leslie Moriarty, to approve $20,000 for drone software, we call it, as a routine item. Those in favor? So that vote is 4-0-0, and the motion is carried. So our next item on the agenda is PD3, and again for the police department, so again, Chief Hebe. And this is $18,074, approval to use personal protective equipment.
So the U.S. Department of Justice has a reimbursement program for agencies that make wearing of a bulletproof vest mandatory while on patrol duty. And I made that, instituted that policy when I became chief. That then made us eligible for the receipt of this matching fund, about 50% of our costs for replacing the vests. The vests have to be replaced every 5 years, and this amount will cover the group that is eligible for replacements for the coming year.
I'll make a motion.
No, I'd like to ask, how many vests is it, Jim? How many vests does this buy?
I'm not sure of the number.
Okay. I'm sorry, Leslie?
Can I make the motion to approve this as routine?
I'll second that.
Moved by Leslie Moriarty, seconded by Harry Fisher, to approve $18,074 as a routine item. Those in favor? So that motion is passed unanimously. The motion is carried. Thank you. PD4 for the police department, $85,685.46. Approval to use a 911 grant for overtime.
So everyone's phone bill has a 911, a few cents on your phone bill every month, and that monies is allocated by the state to various 911 public safety dispatch centers for costs to operate the PSAP. So we currently have several openings in the PSAP, although HR has identified we have over 90 applicants for the next test. It takes several months to train them, so we currently have a new dispatcher training now, and we hope to hire 3 more very shortly. So this money will be used for the overtime to cover those open positions until we're back up to full staff. And this
So-
is we've done several times since this money's been available.
And this is for future overtime too, to cover any anticipated, it's not just historic.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Questions? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the $85,685.46 as routine.
I'll second.
Motion made by Leslie Moriarty, seconded by Harry Fisher, to approve $85,685.46, a 911 grant for overtime as a routine item. Those in favor? So that motion is passed 4-0-0. And we have another one for the police department. PD5 for the police department, $12,000, approval to use state asset forfeiture money.
This $12,000 request is to use for recruitment initiative on the police department. These funds will be specifically used for the production of a professional recruitment video and serve as a key component to hiring efforts for the next 2 years. The The project aligns with our ongoing commitment to attract qualified candidates and enhance the department's visibility in the community. This morning, before I came over here, I had a letter of resignation on my desk from an officer who's been here for a few years, and unfortunately, he's going to New Canaan because of the fact that they have a pension. So we're losing a good officer, and that is just one example of several issues that we have with maintaining the force. We're going to have a more in-depth report for you probably in October to demonstrate to you what has happened since the loss of the pension to the police department and the difficulty in maintaining our full strength of the department. So, and what the costs are to the town. So without getting into those details, this is, again, for future hiring so that we can try to maintain the force. I believe as of that resignation, we'll be down 5 officers, which is, for a full-time police staff is 152, so being down 5 officers is a significant number. And although we've rarely been at 100% strength, and again, just a reminder, when we hire someone, it takes about a full year from the date they get sworn in till when they're eligible to work the car, to go out on patrol by themselves. They go to the academy for 7 months, and then they have a minimum of 12-week FTO program. We also currently have the openings. The application just closed for a police test that we'll be giving shortly as well. So, just kind of a note, we have half the number of people applying for the police job as they are applying for the dispatcher job.
And remind us, how many are in the academy now? I think none?
Well, we have 3 people in the academy.
You do?
Correct. 2 in the, 1 in Stanford Academy and 2 in the Connecticut Police Academy. And we have reservations if we can have others qualify in time in the Milford Academy and at the Connecticut Academy.
David, you might turn your mic on when you speak.
Harry, do you have,
Nope, I'm set.
Leslie?
Have you, I was just curious about the use of the video. Is this the first time you're creating a video that it creates interest, or?
So what we have had is we have a couple of really high-speed officers who have kind of, made we did a video at the beginning of the summer about the Marine Division, and that got a lot of hits on social media. But it really needs a professional address. The last time we did one was three years ago for our 125th anniversary. We did one more on the history of the department, and again, that generated a lot of social media hype and number of hits. So we think that it's a value, but having someone do it professionally would
Yeah.
probably make it better than us.
It's hard to know how many hits then turn into people
Sure.
applying. The documentation here shows $17,000. You're asking for 12.
We have some money that will be donated in the support of this.
All right, that's it.
And before we close out the police, to Harry's point before, any general comment about the remaining funds? You don't have to go through the numbers in all of the different accounts that you're tapping into. Are you concerned about the remaining funds? Is there adequate amount of remaining funds in those accounts to cover future needs?
So if you check with any of the other command staff, they'll tell you how tight the chief is about using those money, because I like to have them available. But what I will tell you is that the federal and state asset forfeiture and equitable sharing accounts are not, the money's not coming in like it used to, except for the bulletproof vest grant and for the dispatchers, the 911 money. Although some of our ORCA, the Organized Retail Criminal Activity initiative, actually we do anticipate getting probably 25,000 in from that in a few months. It's a process of having to apply for it. So it just, that resource for things like this that we need that are not in the budget is limited, as and it becomes more and more limited.
So do I have a motion?
I'll move approval of PD 5, the amount of $12,000,
I second Harry's.
and suggest routine.
Motion made by Harry Fisher, seconded by David Weisbrod to approve $12,000 for the state asset forfeiture. So to create a video. Routine. Those in favor? So that motion passed 4-0-0. Thank you, Chief Hebe. So now we have fire department. No, I know Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't. Oh. So, good morning, Chief. We have Assistant Chief Charlie Lewicki,
I think you might have turned it off. Is it on?
who's brought a friend.
Test.
There,
Colin?
sorry.
All right. Good morning, committee. I'm here with FD1. On September 8th, our Deputy Chief of Training was on his way home in his department vehicle. He was rear-ended at a light. The vehicle was rear-ended and has extensive undercarriage damage. It's a 2013 Tahoe with just about 50,000 miles on it. At this time, we're a little short on vehicles to begin with as we did the reorganization, so we brought extra people from the operations unit up to into the Fire Marshal and Training Division. And we also have another vehicle that is a long-term at the shop. It's a Ford hybrid that's in Darien for the last couple months as well, and we don't have a return date for that. So we're in the position right now that we knew we were going to be tight on vehicles, and we have two of our personnel using their own personal cars right now for town business. With that being said, that is why we are asking to go ahead with funding for a replacement vehicle for this Tahoe that is, we believe within the week is going to be totaled by the adjuster. We've worked with Megan. She is working with Geico, who was the rear-enders insurance company on maybe subrogation there. And we also worked with the fleet department to get the quote that's in your paperwork there. Jay was great and was able to find a vehicle that was turnkey for us to be able to use if so approved. Also, at this time, Fleet does not have any loaner vehicles for us, nor does the carpool at this time. Which brings me here to ask for the funding now.
So, okay, do you have any estimate? Did Megan give you any estimate about how much those insurance proceeds might be?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, thank you. Eric?
Yeah, I have two questions. What's the justification for a training officer using it to go back and forth home?
So the Deputy Chief of Training is also the Department Safety Officer, and they are called back on all major calls. And them having a take-home vehicle was long before my starting here.
Okay. Second question is, you've identified a vehicle on a lot, but, you know, this is going to have to go to the RTM.
Yes.
How are we assured that that vehicle will always be available?
So this is from Northwest Hills, which is the main purveyor that we use for police and fire vehicles here in the town of Greenwich. Jay has a relationship with them. He was already able to find out that, you know, we've been using Tahoes in the police and fire department, and they're currently on back order. So the two that were approved in this year's fiscal budget, we probably won't see until at least November, December. And so they found a Traverse, Chevy Traverse, just kind of like what the police got as well because of the backlog, and they'll be able to hold it for us for a month or so.
It's 2 months.
2 months?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So just to follow up on that, because the timing, and I wasn't, in reading the explanation, there was some gaps in my following the logic. So you have new vehicles coming in December.
Right.
But the interpretation is that those new vehicles don't negate the need for this additional vehicle, or is that? not-
Correct, yeah, because we're actually short more than that, as we have two people using their own vehicles to do department business right now, as well as we had to take our prime mover vehicle, is what we call it. It's a pickup truck that can move our technical rescue hazmat trailers, and if we ever have to assist GEMS or anyone with things that are in the wooded sections of town, we have an ATV that we'll bring out there as well. So we had to press that into regular staff use as well at this time.
So,
No, no, I'm sorry.
well, I was gonna say, assuming there's justification for the new vehicle, and you'll probably ask the question about that, would this be the vehicle you would purchase, or would you purchase a new vehicle? And
Yeah, this is this is a new vehicle that we would be purchasing, and at the end of the day, it doesn't add a +1 to our fleet count. We still stay the same because
What-
we're down.
so this is just the replacement for the
Correct.
totaled car, so
Yes.
you've got the same one. But in a perfect world, would you buy a new car versus this used one?
This is not
Oh,
used.
this
It is new.
okay.
Used.
All right.
It's
so-
a
sorry.
new vehicle, but it's a purveyor that is.
Got it.
This is not selling to mostly the regular public. It's more for public safety in towns.
It's a 2025, I mean, the argument could fit a 2026, but that's.
Right.
Okay, and presumably, we will get some insurance proceeds to cover this appropriation, kind of by
Yes.
the end of the day. We don't know the amount, but,
No, but I know that Megan has already been in contact with Geico and started the process.
Good luck with Geico.
So, this car is black versus the white ones you normally have? Is that what it says?
It's supposed to be white. I believe,
It
I
said
believe
black.
Jay sent me the quote from the car that the police department just bought. So I believe it says that it's black instead of white.
Okay, but it is
It
gonna
will be white, yes.
See, the details.
That is our
we look
standard,
at.
yes.
So, do we have any more questions? David? Okay, so, do I have a motion?
I'll move approval of this and suggest routine.
I'll second,
As routine.
as routine.
Okay, so motion made by Harry Fisher, seconded by Leslie Moriarty as a routine item. The purchase of an additional appropriation for $60,000 for a vehicle replacement. Those in favor? So that motion has carried 400 unanimously. And so
Thank
we
you.
also have FD2, again, from the fire department, 15,000 for an additional appropriation for mold remediation at the Coscob Firehouse. So, once again, Chief?
Yes, so in July, professional environmental testing conducted at the Coscob Firehouse confirmed the presence of black mold in the career bunk areas. It was caused by some excessive pipe condensation and mold growth within air conditioning units. That is in the process of being rectified. To keep the station open and operating to its full capabilities, we brought in a shower trailer because the showers in that station are in the affected area to be able to have continuity of operations with 24/7 out of there. Once again, I've been working with Luigi and BCM, and they've been fantastic in helping us get through all of this. We have asked for you to consider this $15,000 to cover the cost of the trailer now up front. I know it's early in the fiscal year, but with the trying to right-size the budget, this comes out of the lines that has a lot of our third-party costs. And from looking at all the different scenarios, I felt that it would just been a game of JVing and me coming back for money later in the year. So I was coming anyway, so I would ask you to consider this as an upfront kind of out of the realm from regular cost.
Harry?
Yeah, Charlie, when you called me about this originally, you spoke about external source for the water, that it was leaking into the building. And you talked about an external drain that was clogged up.
That was unfortunately one of many issues that we've had at the station. There's 4 or 5 different things that are going on at the same time. It's a beautiful building, but it is an older building. So we had an issue with some mold buildup on the air conditioning units. The rooftop air conditioners for the top floor that the volunteer uses for their space, those are in the middle of having to be replaced as well. We found a pipe that was not insulated, caused all of this condensation, which led to a lot of the black mold. And then we also have a structural steel issue that we're looking at in the front of the building as well.
Okay, and someone told me there was a problem with an ice machine.
Yeah, that's the line with the condensation.
Oh, that's,
Yeah, so I also think it didn't help that we had, the entire month of July was 90 degrees with 90% humidity. But the spot that was set up for the ice machine and not used for many years, we installed an ice machine in it, and that is one of our condensation issues that we had, as well as condensation from the air conditioning unit on that first floor, where BCNM has installed a larger drip trace for the condensation so that there's no overflow from those as well, just because there was a lot of overuse because of the temperature. Not an everyday issue, but it
okay,
caught
thank
us.
you.
Just so you know, Luigi walked in just as you started this one. No, the other way.
Does Luigi have anything to add to this?
Sure. Do you want me to?
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
to come up to the mic,
Because
please.
you have to come up to the mic. So we have Luigi Romano. BC.
Luigi Romano, Director of Facilities, Building Construction Maintenance, DPW. So, yeah, there's a few items there. Charlie had mentioned that we're working with the fire department on as the reports come in. The concern of the mold, I think, is the specific one at this discussion. That was stemming from the ice machine. That was the pipe that was leaking. What had happened was the ice machine, then the second floor, has a drain, and as ice was melting continuously, because it has quite a large hopper, it was cooling that cast iron pipe, which is the sewer pipe, typically not insulated because it typically doesn't get very cold. So that was causing some condensation. We had responded to a call back in early July on it and unplugged it. It had gotten plugged in again since then and continued to condensate. And then following that, we went through, did some testing, found some molds present. None of those molds were considered hazardous to health other than like typical allergies. If you had a asthma condition or a mold allergy, it could cause you to be a little more like sneezy or stuff like that, but nothing like a black mold that would make you sick, nothing like that. Very typical, stuff you would find on a banana if you left it on your counter too long. So, but we worked through, we stripped the bottom 2 feet of sheetrock, took the carpet out to ensure that there was no water issue coming from beneath or any other areas. Everything seems dry and functional, and we're working to put that back together for the guys so they can get back into their dorm. There were some other comments brought up about some other work around the station. Those are just typical work requests that we're responding to. So rooftop unit was at end of life, and we're replacing it. So stuff like that.
But all of this is within your budget?
Yep.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to,
Can I just
Oh,
want to
I'm
ask
sorry.
about just the accounting, and you even recognize in your comments that 15,000 is a rather small amount to ask for, especially so early in the year. And we know your budget's tight. We know that you didn't have any excess funds last year at the close of business. However, it would seem sort of more prudent on a financial basis not to ask for the additional appropriation right now, but to move funds around in your budget and from other areas, ask for a transfer to cover it if it's not in the right MOC, because other things may happen, and it's just redundant, not redundant, but it's harder for, I think, the RTM to get repeated requests for additional appropriations rather than seeing a budget request in whole and what's happening within the department. And let me ask the controller, the budget director, Creeley, what do you think the best way to handle this is? Is it go forward with multiple requests? Or should we be dealing with this multiple requests, or should this be an MOC at this point?
I hear what Charlie is saying as far as he was coming.
Whoa.
Also, this particular instance had got some notoriety publicly, so for us tracking, it doesn't make much difference if we have extra requests. I mean, that's kind of up to you. Of course, it's easier to, wait till later in the year, but I think it's a relief that it's a relatively immaterial amount. So this might be something that, if that puts it to bed, that also, rather than at the end of the year accumulating that there were issues, bringing up the Coscob mold issue again. So as far as the tracking goes, it's not a concern. It's up to you.
So I think I'm appreciative of the fact that you notified us and, and advising us of this issue. But I do have one question. I don't know, Agnes or Roland, how much money do we have in that line? Do they have in that line item? Which I think was a follow-on to Leslie's question.
So it's account 52340.
Right, it should be negative.
Is it negative already?
I believe it's a line that we actually don't fund, so it was a line that was zero to begin with, so it would require either an appropriation or an immediate JV.
So I think it makes sense to move ahead with it.
I mean, I appreciate that you're at the RTM anyway in November, right? So it's just doing both things. It's atypical for such a small amount to be asking for it at this time of the year.
Absolutely, and once again, with trying to dial in the budget and not have a lot of excess, and where we do have excess, it's in maintenance, which is an unknown cost and doesn't get spent, and that's why I was erring on the side of caution before we were, playing checkers, trying to move money around all year long to catch up to this.
I'm inclined to, this was not an unforeseen operational expense, but more of an emergency kind of a thing. So I'm inclined to move forward with it, especially as you note they're going to be before the RTM anyway.
Do we have any
I'll
response?
move approval.
So I'm just, I will take that motion, but do we have any response on the line?
As Charlie said, that line item did not have a budget, so it is negative with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Harry, you made a motion?
Yeah, I move approval of FD2 in the amount of $15,000 and suggest routine.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Harry Fisher, seconded by David Weisbrod. $15,000 for an additional appropriation for the mold remediation at Coscob Firehouse as a routine item. Those in favor? All right, 3. Those opposed?
Thank you.
Those opposed?
I'm abstaining.
And those abstaining. So that motion has passed, 3-0-1.
Just process.
Thank you.
Just for process and.
Harry?
Leslie, if I could, while Luigi's here, do you have an update on the AV system in the town hall meeting room?
Just checked it to make sure it works again. We replaced a amplifier that shorted out last week. It is up and running, and you are free to go for tomorrow.
Terrific, thank you.
Come very good news, too.
So I think we're not going to, Luigi's not leaving us though, Harry.
I'm back again.
So, anyway, thank you, Charlie. And would you like to introduce your colleague? Is this his first time at our meeting?
Assistant Chief Tom Leonard.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Thank you. So
Thank you.
welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
And he was sworn in as Assistant Chief over the summer.
Yeah, June, correct, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
So, next on the agenda is the Health Department. So, we have HD1 for the Health Department for $34,903. It's approval to use a PHEP grant. So,
Good morning.
good morning. How are you doing?
We're good. It's a beautiful day. Okay, can you hear me? I'm not sure.
I can't hear you very well.
Maybe
Maybe,
pull it closer.
maybe just a little closer.
Hear
Thank
me
you.
better? Okay.
That's better, because we have to transmit, for the
Yep.
TV.
That's right, making sure. My voice is getting lower and lower lately. Okay, so back to our yearly PHEP grant approval to use. It's to support our emergency preparedness coordinator, his salary, his fringe benefit, and mileage, for a total of $34,903. He's part-time, so that's why it's not too bad. But the grant we get on a yearly basis, they are basically, at this time, we can only use these funds really to support his salary and fringing mileage.
So, just like the police department, you're very good about finding grants to fund. So do I have any questions? And by the way, I should have introduced Deborah Edwards and, I'm sorry,
Matt Angelito.
thank you.
What is the, what does the emergency coordinator do?
He works with all different departments, including police, and he goes to special training for seminars and stuff to work with each other for during emergencies. He also updates our emergency policies for anything with the health department for, let's say, if there's a disaster somewhere, like what happened, I think it was upstate Connecticut, I'm not too sure where, I think it was Stratford, but there was a big emergency with the train and people were all over, not sure what was going on, and, their health department had to come and facilitate what needed to be done, who need to be helped, where to meet their families, that's the emergency preparedness. They help program everything in the plans to move forward to emergencies.
Have any other questions?
No, I'll make a motion. Make a motion to recommend approval of the use of the grant for $34,903 routine.
I'll second that.
So motion made by Leslie Moriarty, second by Harry Fisher, for approval to use the PHEP grant as a routine item, the amount being $34,903. Those in favor?
Thank you.
That motion is passed 4-0-0. Thank you very much, Deborah.
And that's routine? Did it go down?
That's routine, right,
Thank you.
absolutely. So, now we have the return of Luigi Romano for discussion of PW2, Public Works, $50,000 for the release of conditions on the Hamel Rink facility. So, welcome again, Luigi, to our
Thank you.
table.
Good morning.
Good morning. You want to sort of update us on what's happening with maybe finally, with the skating rink? We're making progress, huh?
Time will tell. So we are moving forward.
Okay.
Like always.
Okay.
Continue to move forward. The task force has done a lot of work examining various sites. We've been assisting them in that examination, looking at different property constraints, conditions, etc. They've narrowed down the list of potential sites to 3 for possible build-out options. We have Moorlot Park, which is where the existing rink is today. One option is to rebuild in place. Second option is to rebuild in a various new location on the site in some sort of flip variation. There is the Horseneck parking lot as a second site, third build option, and the Island Beach parking lot, which is a third location, fourth build option. So Horseneck, Island Beach, Moorlot Park. Those are the 3 final locations that the task force is considering. From there, we'd like to proceed in getting some additional information that will help them make a final decision on what their recommendation is for a final build location. We're looking at getting some building cost estimate done. That would be for a more conceptual cost estimate of the facility itself, as we submitted in the last MI go-around to get a more up-to-date price on the building. Then some additional site estimates for each location, which will help us understand, okay, here's our price for our building, now what is the cost to develop that site to accommodate it? Some of that includes a temporary rink as needed for the build and place option, and parking garage estimates for the 2 parking lot options in order to have sufficient amount of parking. The Phase 1 environmental will then be done for the Horse Neck lot and Island Beach lot, as that has already been done for the Moorlot Park lot, and the work done to date not needed there, but very important to know now so we know what we're getting into if those 2 lots are further considered. So that's how we plan on breaking down and getting that additional information with these funds in order to move this process along.
Harry?
Yeah, I gather at Horseneck and Island Beach that in anticipation is some sort of a structure would be built.
Yes.
And the rink would go on top of it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Was it?
No, just the timing of this, I listened to the most recent rink committee meeting, but it sounds like everything's working so that it would be part of this year's budget discussions. You'll have these costs for the CIP process, and will be subject to then town and community review.
Yeah, we're hoping to get that information out there so that everyone singing off the same sheet of music.
Okay, very good.
David? So, just to follow on to Leslie's point here, what is the timing then for MI for any of these? Is it all about the same, no matter which one of the 4 you're picking here? And what would you just suggest, because?
So timing for MI, I would say that if the Moorlot Park option were furthered the flip, that would probably be the quickest one, just because that work has already been done to such a more detailed degree, the A2 surveys, et cetera, that work that's been done on that parcel. The other ones would take some time, a couple more months, to develop that preliminary site plan for application.
So if you were to step out on a limb, what would you say the MI for?
How sturdy is the limb?
I'm sorry?
Oh, it was a joke. How sturdy is the limb?
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't think I heard you say when you might go to MI for Moorlot Park. We'll just start with that one.
Yeah, I think we're really focused on what this information is going to tell us and kind of see what the pricing, comes back at for each option. Are there any large environmental concerns at one location versus another, especially with the parking lots? We're very interested in getting that information back so the task force can make that more educated, recommended decision on where they recommend moving that forward. And then once we have that location, certainly that'll dictate based on the timing, whether it's that MI for the Moorlot or MI for a different location. The other locations will just take additional design time because the design work hasn't been done there.
So, and also, one of these parking lots gets a lot of water.
Yes, both parking lots are in the flood zone, yes.
But I think I have a friend who had a brand-new BMW, went into New York with his wife. I mean, like literally brand new. That was the end of it.
Yeah, came back and it wasn't brand new
It
anymore.
goes under the water.
I'm ready to make a motion?
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to recommend release of conditions for the Hamilton Rink, of $50,000 for the Hamilton Rink facility.
I'll second that and suggest routine.
I would suggest non-routine.
You want that non-routine?
Well, I would think that members of the committee that aren't here would have questions.
Okay.
So, and Leslie, are you then non-routine? So you-
Non-routine.
And Leslie, are you?
Well,
Or you want
yeah,
yours
no, I'm
routine?
okay. I'm just thinking process-wise, we make a recommendation, the chair is the one who makes the final decision.
So would you
We
rather
put the
keep it
agenda-
routine?
No, we'll be
Well,
consistent here.
once one member suggests non-routine, that's what I
It's-
usually go
They're
with.
going to ask for it, sure,
Yeah.
because at the meeting, we'll
So-
want you there to answer questions, so yeah,
By
not.
all
Sorry
means.
about that.
All good.
Okay, so we have a motion by Leslie Moriarty, seconded by Harry Fisher for non-routine release of conditions for the Hamel Rink facility for the $50,000 that's been conditioned. Those in favor? So that motion has passed. 4-0-0, but it looks like you'll be coming to tomorrow night's meeting.
Yep.
Tuesday, okay?
In the town hall meeting room.
Town
Yes.
hall, and in the town hall meeting room,
And
right?
thank you again for getting the work done. We really appreciate that.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Luigi.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Luigi.
My pleasure.
Okay, so, now we're going to have discussion about our economic conditions. So we have Agnes Cowie, who's going to give us the report today.
Yes. So for the first 2 months of the fiscal year, revenues are higher than last year by 10.3 million. Although the taxes that you see here, it's 9.5 million, it doesn't include the year-end adjustment for the 60-day, which is about $1 million, right? Yeah. So with that, then it will be higher than last year by 9.3 million,
I'm sorry,
9.4 million.
I just didn't hear the end of that.
Oh, so if we had included the 60-day adjustment, then the net would be 9.4 million higher than last year's year-to-date.
Okay.
So the conveyance tax was higher because the town clerk recorded 4 big sales that added up to 190,000 in conveyance. And there's a sale at Clapboard Ridge that generated $109,000 in conveyance taxes.
I'm sorry, where was that?
Clapboard Ridge.
Okay.
So the others, for the Board of Ed tuition preschool, that's just a timing. We had agreed with Patrick that they would record their revenue quarterly for starting this fiscal year. And to date, they actually have generated already 410,000. So that 328 is just a timing issue of recording the revenue.
It's still on Board of Ed preschool.
Board of Ed preschool,
Or
okay,
the
thank you.
preschool, yeah. And then for the expenses, it's higher from last year by 7.6 million. Again, the Board of Ed is the bus contract timing. The contract also stipulated that we had to pay October in advance. That's why it's a 2.6 million over here. And then for the healthcare, we had posted 5.3 million payment in September when it should have really been in September, but it posted in August. So that's why you're seeing a 6 million variance there, but really it's lower than that because of the early posting of the September invoice.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
On the bus contract, and is this back on?
Oh, it's off. I can see red. Oh, red should be on.
Yeah, it's
So
on.
this one's already dead.
It's-
We have a good system here. Because this is the expense for fiscal '26.
Yes.
The source of funds will be the non-lapsing account for fiscal '26. So how, if that's correct, how do we track that as, in terms of revenues, I guess, as an offset for this, or no?
It's not going to be revenue.
It's not revenue.
It'll simply be,
Is that his or mine?
I don't know what that was.
it'll be just like an interim appropriation, which will come out of fund balance. So we'll increase their appropriation for the bus contract by 2.5. It'll be like an interim. It'll come out of fund balance, but since it'll be a separate section in the fund balance that says non-lapsing account.
So maybe as we get these reports, so you don't have to give that explanation every month, maybe a footnote
But-
to say there's the source of funds, it's not working off our fiscal '26 source of funds, it's really.
But these are expense to expenses.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes, so, yes.
So, do we have other questions on this? So, I want to just come back to the conveyance taxes because we are substantially ahead of where we were last year at this point in time. In fact, over the last 3 years, and I had one question which I sent to Lauren Elliott, and I don't believe I've received a response. Have any of you received a response to that?
No, but the town clerk, it is in her radar. That sale is in her radar, so it would be in
Yeah, it's
conveyance.
the town clerk, not the assessor.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, the town clerk has it on her radar, that sale, so it will be on conveyance.
It will be conveyance?
Yes, yeah.
Because some of these larger transactions are actually equity transfers or asset transfers. They're not conveyance tax. So that was my question. Will we be getting a conveyance tax for this versus a much lower compensation, whatever we want to call it?
I'm not sure, Leslie.
And that was really my question. And quite frankly, Lauren is, I understand that the money comes into the town clerk's office, but Lauren is more apt to know the structure of an entity because they value these, when they value them for the reval. So that was why I asked the question.
Okay.
Because it could make obviously, a $98 million sale could be very beneficial for us, but just depends on the structure of the asset within whatever.
So
Lauren has not replied back to us yet, but we'll follow up with her. So my guess is that if she had known off the top of her head, she would have let us know.
Right, that's what I
So
figured.
it's-
But,
we'll keep following up.
anyway, that was one of my questions. And we're also,
Can I just ask, you didn't copy the rest of us on that question, so that has to do with that commercial property that just recently sold?
the question that I asked Lauren, after I looked at this number, was, do we, there was an article, which I actually linked, I think it was in yesterday's paper, in Greenwich Times, that $98 million sale. So I just asked her, how's it transferred? As an example, and I might be off here, so I'm a little bit worried about doing this on the television, but I think the properties, say, on Steamboat, that was actually an asset transfer versus a normal sale of a property. And it goes through a different process. And that's done by many corporations.
Just wanted to know the question.
Yeah, that the question is, because that clearly would be a very good conveyance tax into us. Okay. And then building permits are very substantially up. One of the things here with building permits is also looking at Lauren's report, because it's kind of, these are obviously all commercial because they're paying a tax, which is great. I did have some, are we going through the back pages to this or only the cover?
It's up to you, Leslie.
I noticed that parking fines were way up. I guess that's good. But the other thing I was very interested in was the fire marshal's plan review services. That was up by $490,000, which is a very substantial amount relative to our budgeting for their plans. And since this is only for 2 months, do we expect this kind of progress to continue, or is?
We've been budgeting a larger amount, and the actuals have been very low, so this must have been, we can talk to the fire department. Get
Yeah,
back to you on that.
we should have asked Charlie, but I did have a question on that one. And, we talked about building permits, but that's $785,000 more than we had last year, so that's almost double. I guess the building activity that we will be seeing coming up. The other one that really, so all that was very positive. So now let's go back to the one where it is not so positive, and that's Nathaniel Weatherall. So that was down more than twice what their revenues were up. And that one kind of troubled me, because last year the revenues were 5.2.
Leslie, we don't get withdrawals revenue until after the 15th at sometimes. So there's only 1 month of revenue in there.
Okay, well, there's the good news. Glad I asked the question. And then another,
Before we move to expenses, I have, just on revenue, surprised that you didn't ask this. The LoSiP got a reimbursement. I know that we can't plan for the timing, but it just want to acknowledge that funding
Yeah, it
is
was
coming in.
early. Yeah, usually it's like at the end of the fiscal year you get the funding, but
Yeah.
this year somehow it came early.
And just also,
just to further, we had planned on that coming in last, in the last fiscal year, it didn't come in, so this is good news.
good news. And this is really, from my colleagues, the tipping fees were significantly lower. Again, I don't know if there's well, compared to last year, so it already takes out timing of the year, but I don't know if that's a trend that we need to keep working on. Does that mean that our recycling is up higher? But there are some issues with volumes at the transfer station we probably want to understand.
We'll keep an eye on that one. Yeah, it's too early in the year.
Yeah. Okay. So now into expenses.
So expenses, I was surprised the human resources was up so much year over year in terms of expenses for 2 months. Almost 20%, so it just seemed to be an unusual amount. Okay, so I think we can move on. Thank you very much, Agnes and the team. So we have no old business. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve. Do I have a motion to approve the June 17th minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Harry Fisher.
I'll second.
Second by Leslie Moriarty. Those in favor? Approved 400. And I also have a set for July 15th, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Harry Fisher, second by Leslie Moriarty. Those in favor? 400. I have no chair's report as such, except that I will comment that this is unusual, but it worked with our timing, that tomorrow evening is the full BET meeting. Normally, there's like several days lag, but we're putting some pressure on the chair of the BET to get the agenda done.
We can handle it.
But anyway, so it's tomorrow night. I'm just making that comment. And so our next Budget Committee meeting is on Wednesday, October 15th. I guess it's after the long October weekend. And so is there a motion to?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Do you have?
Go ahead if you want.
No, I think this committee typically, or in the past, maybe not, and typically looks at draft guidelines so that we can try to approve them as a BET in October. And we need to set a process so that the Budget Committee, unlike last year, can jointly develop and discuss a draft guideline that can be utilized. And I think we need a plan for that.
So as Leslie, as you know, one of our major cost factors in our expenses is the education contract. And at this point in time, one can guess, but there is no information yet on that. But we'll be working on this and,
So you're not doing we're not doing anything?
No, we will do something, but we'll talk about it first. We'll do it.
When are we going to talk about it? I mean, we have the October.
Right. I think we probably, if we can, we should maybe, if we can, set up something prior to that meeting if that's what we want to do. But at this point in time, remember, we don't have the education numbers
Right.
hopefully by October 1. Teacher, contract.
We have some indication, and we won't have perfect data. The issue is we need to have guidelines before too much of the fiscal year is elapsed.
Right,
And
right.
so-
I agree.
Yeah.
That's good.
So the issue is, how do we do it? That's what Leslie
Right.
Moore is asking.
Because there are other items besides just that one number. There are other parts of the guidelines, and there's a structure and an approach and a policy and what kind of process.
But I think you've
issue.
seen the numbers. and
The
you-
numbers don't, I think that there are
I think
parts of the
that-
guidelines, a lot of the guidelines, if you read last year's language, don't have a lot to do with a one-year forecast that we have a lot of information about, not complete information about. So the fact that there's no work to review, there's no discussion on some of the other aspects, and there's no timing or process for dealing with that is a problem.
So I think we could, if you like, as I said, to David, maybe we can work on that and then maybe set up a special meeting before the October meeting if you want to get it done by then.
Well, I mean,
Okay?
the question I've got is, we could do another meeting, happy to do that. But as the chair, would you be preparing the draft for that meeting? In other words, there's no point in having a meeting without.
Right, right. We'll try our best. Again, we're missing some critical information.
Yeah, but
Okay?
we have, it's not just the Board of Ed anyway, and we have enough indications from the Board of Ed, plus there will be other departments. So, so my question is.
So Roland is filled in, the other departments, I think, pretty much. Okay. But we can work on it.
All right, so let's see if we can get this firm. Are we able to have a meeting between now and the October budget meeting where you, as the chair, will provide a draft so that we can discuss it?
I will do my best to do that, David. I just said that.
Okay, great. So do you want us, like in a couple of weeks or what?
Yeah. Well, I will send an email around, see what schedules are.
Okay. Leslie?
Harry?
Well, we'll have probably a little more to say tomorrow night. I just note that Roland's official retirement comes up the end of the month. While he's not our budget director anymore, he has provided incredible service to this committee over his career. And just want to take note of that and recognize that this is the last meeting in his full-time capacity, and we look forward to having him around afterwards, and I'm sure Agnes appreciates that too.
So, yes, and I thank Roland very, very much. Harry, thank you for bringing that up. Roland is emphasized low-key, so unfortunately, I guess I took that seriously. But anyway, Roland has done incredible service to the town for 30 years and done it in such an accomplished way and low-key and but absolutely critical to the finance department. So I always say when Roland is out, then the finance department stops. So anyway, with due respect. Anyway, thank you, Roland, for your service, and greatly appreciate it, and we look forward to continuing to work with you in this more part-time capacity, we'll call it. Supportive through the budget cycle. Anyway, do I have a motion?
I'll move we adjourn.
Okay, moved by Harry,
Second.
seconded by David. So at 10:47, those in favor?